Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our next chapter, chapter 2, name New Kings and Kingdoms. In this chapter, we will study about origin of the new kingdoms, the Rajputs, the Gurjara Pratiharas, the Rashtrakutas, the Palas, tripartite struggle, Turkish invaders, and the administration and economic of the kingdom. After death of Harshvardhana's chieftain, who had been dependent of the kings, became free and gave challenge the authority of their kings and established their own kingdom during this period. Three new power emerged, that was the Rajputs, Rashtrakutas and Palas. These are the name those who existed in 7th century. Origin of the new kingdom. Who were Samantas? Samantas were the big landlords and chieftains. They were considered as the subordinate of king. As these Samantas gained power, they considered themselves as independent. So best example is Tati Durga, who was the Rashtrakutas ruler. So these Samantas, they declared themselves to be Mahasamantas and they were independent lords. So why they were called Mahasamantas? Because they gained power and wealth and they became Mahasamantas as well as independent. So this was the way where Rashtrakutas, Palas, Pratiharas came into existence and they were just subordinates or Samantas, and after gained power and wealth they became Mahasamantas. Who were Rajputs? During the 7th and 8th century emerged a new clan of people who came to be known as Rajputs. They basically belonged to the warrior class of people and were located in Rajasthan and some central parts of India. In Rajputs, two prominent ones were the Gurjara Pratiharas and the Chahmanas. The Gurjara Pratiharas. Nagbhatta first was the most important ruler of the Pratiharas dynasty. He controlled over Ujjain and successfully ward off Arab invaders from Sindh. After Nagbhatta first, Mihir Bhoja became the ruler and extended the empire from the river Satluj in the west to the river Narmada in the south. He was also able to control over Kannauj in 836 Common Era. It was the big victory for the Pratiharas because Kannauj was the capital of Harsas as well as economically prosperous. But finally, it came to an end when Mahmud of Ghazni gained control of Kannauj in 10,019. But the Gurjara Pratiharas eventually established the state of Mewar in Rajasthan. Who were Chahmanas? The Chahmanas were the major rulers during 7th to 12th centuries in northwestern India who ruled over the regions of Delhi and Ajmer. Or the Chahmanas or Chauhans, those who were dependent on Pratiharas, established their own rule over Delhi, Ajmer, and Ranthambore in the 12th century. Prithviraj Chauhan was the first ruler of Chahmanas and he defeated to Muhammad Ghori in first battle of Tarain in 1191. This big event was immortalized by Chand Bardai. He was the court poet of Chauhans. Prithvi Raj Raso was also written by Bardai. The Rashtrakutas in the beginning were tributary kings of the Chauhans and later became rulers of the vast kingdom. According to some historians, Rashtrakutas' empire was the biggest empire in India that took the glory of Karnataka to its peak. Danti Durga was the founder of Rashtrakutas dynasty and he defeated to Gurjara and captured over Malwa. Dhruva first became the king in 780 and defeated the Palas and the Pratiharas. So Govinda III and Amog Varsha were the greatest ruler of Rashtrakutas dynasty, extended the empire from Kannauj in the north to Kanchipuram in the south. Amok Varsha was a brave and secular ruler. Next, the Palas. The Palas dynasty was founded by Gopala in 750. Mainly, they ruled over East India, especially in Bihar and Bengal, between the 18th and 12th century. Dharmapala, the son of Gopala, extended his empire in northwest India. Dharmapala's son Devpala added Assam and part of Odisha, but his successors could not maintain the kingdom of land. So, what is tripartite? Means the struggle for Kannauj among the Gurjara Pratiharas, Palas, and Rashtrakutas occupied a major part of the early medieval period of Indian history. Historians thus refer to this struggle as the tripartite struggle. Next, the administration and economy of the kingdom. The king had all the powers, but they were advised and assisted by the Council of Ministers. Second key point, kingdom was divided into smaller units called bhuktis. Third point, an important features of this period was the grounding provenance of Samantas. Samantas became more powerful than ruler. The rulers compelled the people to pay taxes in cash. Next point, Mahmud of Ghazni. Mahmud of Ghazni, he was the son of Subudkin and after ascending the throne, he wanted just to plunder the wealth of India. His intention was not to establish any empire in India, but especially he was interested only in wealth. That is why he attacked in India on 17 times. He just wanted to build Ghazni into one of the most beautiful city in the world. That is why he attacked 17 times and just he took wealth and went away from the India. He did not rule over India. And his last attack was on the Somnath temple in 1026 just to plunder the gold. Next point is Muhammad Ghori. Muhammad Ghori established Muslim rule in Delhi for the first time by defeating Prithvi Raj Chauhan in the Battle of Tarin. After second battle of Tarin in 1206, Muhammad Ghori returned to Ghazni, leaving his Indian territories in the hands of his general Qutbuddin Aibak. Reasons why the invaders succeeded over India. First point, the infighting and disunity among the Indians' rulers weakened them. Second point, the Indians fought in groups led by different leaders. The Turkic and Afghan soldiers stood unified under one leader. Third point, the violent Rajputs were excellent fighters. However, the invaders were more organized and employed better military strategies. Fourth point, the heavy footed elephants of the Indian armies were no match for the swift horses that formed the core of the Turkic army. I hope students must be you have understood the chapter.